Mr. Chair, thank you for the call. I just want to take a short call. This is a significant chunk of the bill, of the food bill. I mean, it runs for about a third of this massive tomb that we have here that the committee has been working on assiduously for nearly 3 years, and bringing to a tumultuous and very exciting end as part of this committee. It goes through the nuts and bolts, sir, of the need for this bill and how it is going to operate in practice. And I believe that what it will do, and it's been touched on before by the Minister as well, is to ensure that the compliance charges and the complications and some of the ambiguities of the previous bill are removed, and it enables compliance issues to be simplified so much that it's estimated, I think, that about $50 million will be saved by particularly small businesses who are obviously very concerned about that sort of money, and will make a big difference to their ability to make a profit. So that's very good. The second part, I think, what it does in this bill here is it really, in a sense, identifies the risk and how it's going to deal with that risk. And as I said in the beginning of the introduction of the bill, I believe that what this bill does is moves the emphasis from the premises or the proprietor, and moves it across into the risk of that particular food poses, and then how to mitigate and how to build regulations around that risk. So this, in a sense, gives guts, and it gives the detail in and around that. My colleague mentioned the ability of search, and I mean, this is something that is very much on the minds of New Zealanders, as the GCSB bill was smashed through Parliament, ignoring protocols and an ability to argue it and negotiate it sufficiently. And it's also relevant at the moment as well to the immigration bill that's been looked at, because that will give immigration officials much greater ability to conduct searches, knock down doors in the middle of the night, etc. That was previously not possible to be done under the existing law. And so I'd like the Minister to perhaps take a call on this issue, and reassure people, because I do think it's at the front of people's minds, that the search procedures as contained in Part 4 of the bill are sufficient to be able to ensure that we are able to crack down on those operators that are not operating responsibly, but at the same time not step over the bounds of our ability to have a basic human right, that people don't come crashing through our doors and kick over our chip fryer or whatever. So that's I think the balance here, and it would be very interesting and I'd call on the Minister to be able to give us that assurance and best outline the procedures that are in place to ensure that balance is maintained. I just refer also to what the previous speaker, Rino Turakatni, was just talking about in terms of marae. I mean, I do think that it's quite a specific, in many ways quite a unique situation that exists in New Zealand, the way that marae food is prepared, distributed out to people. But obviously this bill, and I think it does this adequately, and it comes on page 274. Gives you an idea, actually. We're only halfway through this bill, and we're up to page 274. People who are sitting at home watching this must be thinking, we're really making big progress here. Day before the budget, and we're thumbing through 400 or 500 pages of the food bill. Not that it's not important, but it's just building up to that momentous day tomorrow when we, for the first time, this government will be able to announce a budget where it is in the black. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful that after 5 tries, the Minister of Finance has finally got a budget that's going to go into the black. I think that's wonderful, and he deserves recognition. The only thing that we don't mention is that every year that you run a deficit, you have to borrow. And so what we've ended up doing is having a $60 billion debt that somehow, Mr. Chair, I'm getting back onto the bill now.
Yeah, please do.
There is a way forward. There is a track that is leading inevitably back to this. And I'll only take a couple more minutes, and then I would really appreciate the Minister talking on the issue of search and surveillance. But certainly, sir, the $60 billion debt is a big debt to overcome. That means we have to be sure that we are able to export confidently. See, I told you I was going to segue back onto this bill again, and confidently being able to export our food and make sure that our food is safe will enable us to give confidence to the export markets that they'll be able to buy our products. So it all comes back to the same thing. Sir, I don't want to say too much more of this. Once again, Part 4 has been gone through very comprehensively. There are pages and pages and pages here where from the previous bill that have been eliminated and whole new sections have been written in, and I think those people out there both in the food industry and both importing and exporting food will have some confidence that the bill has struck the right balance, with the exception, with the clarification, sir, of the search provisions that are contained in Part 4, and I would welcome the Minister being able to speak to those. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Stephen Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, on this, speaking on Part 4,